Good morning. Today I'm gonna tell you how to 3D model or design anything. There's a bunch of free software, mainly I would say Blender and Fusion 360. Also Tinkercad and Meshmixer are great. Today we're gonna be using Fusion 360. I think it's the most powerful free 3D modeling software out there. Not for sculpting, but definitely for like measurement accurate design work. So today we're making something like this. This is like a handheld blender, I guess, and I think this is a good demonstration of how all the tools work in this software. And we're gonna make it from scratch, and we're gonna make a render from it. By this point, you should have all your measurements down, and we're gonna start off with a sketch. All 3D models usually start from a 2D sketch. You can start sketching in your preferred format. You're gonna sketch on a piece of paper, but we're gonna have to make the sketch on the computer as well. Right now, I'm not gonna go by any accurate measurement. There's a lot of tools to draw the sketch. Of course, there's line, there's arcs, there's rectangles, squares, circles, ellipses. You can do pretty much anything. We're gonna be mainly using line, and I like to use the 3-point arc tool as. Now we're just gonna connect these lines like so. You know, I'm making this pretty rough. I don't have any correct measurements or anything like that, but for now I think this is a good sketch to start off with. So now we got the finished sketch, and there's a few ways to turn a sketch into a 3D model. The most basic one is extrude, which basically you can take a shape and you can pull it into a direction. You can either cut with it, or you can make a new object, or a lot of things. What we're now going to be using is Revolve. It's a really powerful tool for designing lamps and these kind of circular objects like water bottles and mixers, for example. So we're just going to be selecting all of it, and then we're going to need to select the axis, which is going to be this right here, and it's going to turn it into a round object. So now we're pretty far already. I don't exactly love the shape, so I'm gonna scale it a bit upside like this, so it's taller. The shape is getting better. Now I'm gonna start doing some of the finer details. I'm gonna create a new sketch on the bottom here, and we're just gonna create a circle like so, really simple. And we can drag that back with the extrude, so you can like cut with extrude as well, which can it can make it easier to make complicated objects like this. The next what I want to do is I'm gonna kind of create these holes on the sides of this. So I just did a sketch on the side. We're gonna create a slot, and I'm just gonna draw it something like this, and then we're gonna make it go through there. Now it would be really bothersome and a lot of work to do this for all the holes over the edge here, so there's an easier way to do, and that's called circular pattern. We can select that. We can do features. We can select the feature in here. We can select the axis, just gonna be the green line there, which we want to rotate it over. And as you can see, now I made 3 of those holes, and we can just choose the number of holes that we want. I'm gonna want quite a many holes. Let's try 30. That looks good. That allows us to make like these complicated circular objects. Of course, you could also extrude that outwards, or you can make a lot of cool stuff. The circular pattern one. Now we're gonna make a button on top, and if you want to make it a separate color for the render, at this point I'm gonna make it a new body instead of joining it. Then we're gonna design the blade. Then again, you can also use the circular pattern here on a 2D sketch. I've selected the objects we want to rotate, and we get the axis. And then when we're extruding, we can also, instead of extruding from one side, we can extrude from 2 sides, so we can make something like this a bit easier. Yeah, I think that is good. Now we are at a point where we have all the rough components, all the measurements of the part we're modeling, but it's really rough. It doesn't have the colors. So now we're gonna start doing some filleting and chamfering. A fillet is basically gonna round off the edge, and we can apply it to a lot of the edges here. You can do like 3mm fillet, or maybe 4. 4 seems good. And here we're gonna do like 1 or 2. I'm gonna keep it quite sharp to keep the shape. 3. Now I actually noticed that on the holes here, I should have done the fillet before doing the circular pattern because I don't want to go over all of these with the fillet tool. And the great thing on Fusion 360 is that down here we can kind of move back in the design. So with this needle here, we can find the spot where we did the circular design and just go right before it, and we can do the fillet now, and it's gonna apply the circular design with that. We're just gonna do a 1mm fillet there and see if it works out. No. Well, that's fine, because we can change this and we should be able to select here those as well, I think. Well, I had to add it here again. Instead, I couldn't just edit it, but it's no biggie. I just put it back on there. And now we should be able to delete that other one. And now we can go back to the future in the design. So yeah, then instead of filleting, you can also do a chamfer, which I'm going to be doing here on the edges to make them sharp. And instead of equal distance, we're going to do 2 distance so that it's gonna become kind of sharper down the edge. So we can do something like that. That looks good. Now some more filleting over here. Let's do like 1mm. It's good. Over here 0.5. It's good. Over here for the button. Yeah, that's fine. I actually don't like the button. Let's get rid of it and make it again. Yeah, I want to make it smaller. It kind of got blended into the filleted edge of the mixer there. We're gonna do a chamfer on it like so. And then we're gonna also add a fillet on it. Let's try something like this. Yeah, I think that seems decent. Then for the button here, we wanna draw something, but we wanna draw it in another software. So we want to import design, an SVG, a vector. So we can do it here from insert SVG. Now I chose some old logo of mine here, and we're gonna make it a bit smaller. 0.07, I think would be fine. Let's try 8. Yep. Then we're gonna move it where we want it. It's good. And now we can do whatever we want with this. So I'm gonna extrude it out of there. So this way we can create like a quick emboss, just our logo or something that we wanna add, like that. Now it's starting to be done, but it looks boring, so we're gonna start adding some color. You come to here for the main body part. We're gonna do physical material or appearance, doesn't really matter. And we can search through colors here. I'm gonna add this glossy red on here. I think it looks great. And on the button here, we're gonna add some white. And for the blades, we're gonna add some aluminium. And now it's looking actually quite good. Of course, this wouldn't be a finished product. You would have to design all the internals, all the components, all of that. But I think for a mockup, this is starting to look pretty good. Now, the great thing with Fusion 360 is that we can render it right here. We don't have to take it to Blender. We can do a quick render just to get an idea of what it's going to look like by here design and render. Now it has rendered it. We can press here render and we can save it as a photo. We can set the resolution. We can't get the best quality with the free version, of course, but there's some limitations, but still it's really good free software. But that's about it. That's how it came out. Hope you like it. Hope you learned something. I know that I have learned on my own much more than I have learned in the first year of my industrial design studies here in Finland. And I actually do think that this video will probably teach you most of what you would learn on the first year of industrial design school. Using the software is one of the most important things when designing something like this. And I think Fusion 360 is an amazing software. I think everyone should learn it. So I recommend you to go out there, make something unique, design something great. You know, you can 3D print these things so easily nowadays, so you can make anything. I know my friend designs shoes and 3D prints them. I have done a jewelry like this right here. You know, you can design these things and, you know, you can make them and nothing's gonna stop you. Make cool shit. That's about it. See you later. Hope you learned something. Bye.